If I could put three policy pieces in place that would help assist these things we've talked about, faith, freedom, families. And it would be this. First, pass a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution. We're not going to find the will in the United States Congress to balance our budget, to tighten our belt, to take on the pain that's necessary. Instead, we're borrowing money, and the collateral that we use, you always have to have collateral. You put your house up for a mortgage, your car, your business, whatever it might be. Well, you know what we put up for collateral? The labor of American children yet to be born. That's the mortgage. And it's immoral for us to live at a standard. The richest country in the history of the world, the richest generation in the history of the world, and we can't figure out how to live within our means. We've got to borrow from our future grandchildren. It's immoral for us to do that. And the only way we fix it, I think, is to push a balanced budget amendment through to the 38 states necessary to get it ratified. That's one of the three pillars that I think, the three legs that we need to have to take the country where it needs to go. Second one is, you've seen what's happened with the IRS. The Obama administration has unleashed the discriminatory powers of the Internal Revenue Service to discriminate against his political enemies. You've seen it through the news over and over again. If your title had liberty in it, they went after you. I don't know if you've been audited, Steve Scheffler, but you got to be a target of the IRS. And so when you have an administration that's using the IRS as a political weapon against its political enemies, and we understand from the economic side that anything that we can do, everything that we can do to establish and abolish the IRS and establish a national sales tax, it does everything good that anybody's tax policy does that is good. It does them all better. We know that. But there's another piece of this. Every little kid that grows up in America has to walk up there to the counter of the convenience store after they save their dimes and nickels and put a couple of dimes up there for their baseball cards or their Barbie doll clothes or whatever kids buy today. And they will have to dig a little deeper for Uncle Sam. Here's one dime for Uncle Sam, here's another dime for Uncle Sam. And they will realize the federal government is expensive, it's intrusive, and they're going to demand less government and more freedom. So we transform America. And our pastors, who stand at the pulpit like this and tremble in fear that they'll lose their 501c3 not-for-profit status if they say something that might be partisan or deemed political. You get rid of the IRS, you get rid of the full Internal Revenue Tax Code and go to a national consumption sales tax. You don't have any of those decisions anymore, and all of our pastors can preach in a full-throated way the word from the book, from the pulpit. We get to finally tax the pimps, the prostitutes, and the drug pushers. I think that would be a good move, too. Third thing, school choice. You're watching as Common Core is pushed across this land, and I know a lot of you in this room have stood up against it and made sure that I was paying attention as well. This Common Core is something that is generated out of the Department of Education, not with the endorsement of the United States Congress or the people of this country, but from this administration and a little earlier. We don't need a national curriculum. We need parents deciding what our kids are going to learn. And the values that have been scrubbed out of our education system by the court system and by the movement of the culture and the civilization come back again. Now think we know what it's like, a faithful family that raises their children, homeschools them. Part of their curriculum, of course, is the Bible. Part is our faith. A big part of it is they live it, they learn it, and they incorporate the academic work into the faith component of it and the work ethic of all kinds. That's the homeschool. Then when you get out into the public school, a lot of those values are scrubbed out. No more prayer in the public school. I was a freshman in high school when Madeline Murray O'Hara succeeded in the Murray versus Curlett case, and they took prayer out of the public school. And I remember sitting there thinking, what would they do if we just continued to pray? How does the Supreme Court enforce such a ruling? Now, I don't know why I came to that conclusion as a know-nothing freshman in high school, but I had a vision in my head of Do they send in the army to stop us from praying? The only way to stop us, and this is freshman high school vision, I can see it in my mind's eye today, they would have to empty our schools and chain the doors shut to stop prayer in public schools. But we respected the Supreme Court instead. And look what we've got. We've got a society that's watching our values be scrubbed out systematically, even within a public education system. So here's what I would say we do. Let's consolidate the money that's necessary to educate a single student, and each student, let's put that into one check. Let's staple the check to that kid's shirt collar and point to only one person or two, mom and dad, and say, get that kid an education, wherever you choose. That'd be a parent's decision.